Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I am finally going to be doing my first tier list on this channel. Today we're actually going to be not talking about cartoons, we're actually going to talk about music, which I haven't done that much. I have done several videos. The first couple of videos I uploaded were the all the World Party songs and stuff, but I haven't done that much since. I've just been doing mainly cartoon videos, obviously, all the lists and, the controversial cartoon opinions and stuff like that, but today we're going to be talking about music, and specifically we're going to be talking about Prince, one of my all-time favorite artists. He's done like a bunch of albums. He's gone platinum several times. He's won a lot of awards. He's amazing at like all the instruments he plays. He's a guitarist, he's a singer, a drummer, keyboardist, piano player, bassist. He plays all the instruments and he's amazing. He's really talented, and he is definitely one of the best musicians out there. And today we're going to be ranking all of these albums. I spent hours, taking all these images and stuff and uploading them here. And there are over 60 albums on here. There's actually 65 albums, and there's also going to be 6 movies that we're going to rank at the end as well. Some of these are concert movies, some of them are full theatrical releases, but we'll get to those at the end. But for now, we're going to do the albums. And from what I know, these are all of his albums, so including like all of his best ofs and like rare kind of bootleg album, or not really bootlegs, but just hard to find releases that you can find on like Spotify, but for the most part are pretty hard to find on like CD or vinyl or something. But for a while they were hard to find, but now you can just find them anywhere online. Just go on YouTube and find them. But we're going to be including all of those as well as some deluxe editions of albums, so like Purple Rain over here in 1999 and Sign of the Times, and like I said, the best ofs, and then a couple singles as well. We got the Beautiful Experience, Get Off, and the new Power Generation singles, as well as some other ones, and as well as some MPG exclusives. We're going to be talking about, or not MPG exclusives, but like albums that are labeled as by the new Power Generation, not by Prince, but he was part of them, so I don't really know why they're just by the new Power Generation, but whatever. But there is a couple of those, and we'll get to those at the end. But for now, we are going to start at the top. And by the way, I apologize. I did have them in a certain order, and I don't know why that order is not the order it is now. But whatever, I guess we'll just stick to the order because I guess when I uploaded the images, Tier List or Tier Maker changed the order of all the albums, and it messed everything up, whatever. So we'll just stick with the order here. It's not in, by year. It's just in a really random pattern, but whatever. We'll just roll with it. So, but at least they did keep the first album as his debut, which is For You. And I have never really heard it, so I don't really know that much about this album. I have heard a few songs. I've heard Soft and Wet, and I've heard Just As Long As We're Together, but nothing else, so I, for now, have to put it in the don't know section.
Oh, the debut. That's the true fans pick. The true fans pick.
The next one is Love Sexy, came out in the late 80s, had some pretty big hits, including Alphabet Street, Glam Slam, Anesthesia, I Wish You Heaven. Really, really well-made album. The only downside is that on the CD copy, all of the songs are just one song. It's not like all the tracks are different tracks. It's just like all of the whole album is on one big song. So when you're listening to it on CD, you can't just like skip all the songs. You have to just play the whole album, which kind of sucks. So just for that, I will put it in the B tier. I think it's good, but just for that, it goes in B tier. All right, so our third one here is the Batman soundtrack, which I used to not be a big fan of, but lately I've been playing a lot of Prince albums in preparation for this video, and this one I've been playing a lot, and it's starting to grow on me. I really enjoy it now. I don't think it's an A tier. I think it's B tier. I think it's pretty solid, but yeah, I think it's B tier. Some of the best songs: Electric Chair, The Future, Party Man, Lemon Crush, etc. And the worst song is definitely Bat Dance. I think Bat Dance is definitely the most overrated song on this album because it was like the only big hit, but not a very good song. So, but other than that, the album is solid. Definitely B tier. Moving on, Graffiti Bridge, another soundtrack. Amazing album. Definitely better than the movie. The movie is pretty good, I will say. It's the sequel to Purple Rain, which Purple Rain is pretty good as well. But I think for both of these movies, you mainly see them for the music. You don't really see them for the actual story because Prince as an actor, he's not too good. But the soundtrack is really good. The music is amazing in this movie, and in Purple Rain, and in like all the other movies. Like I said, Batman and stuff. But Graffiti Bridge definitely got to be S tier. Some of my favorite songs. I think I mostly like the stuff that's not by Prince, but like maybe he's not the main artist. Like I love the Time songs, and I like the Mavis Staples song Melody Cool, and the George Clinton songs, and those songs. So I like all the non-Prince stuff, but the Prince stuff is really good. Thieves in the Temple, New Power Generation, Can't Stop This Feeling I Got, Still Withstand All Time, Joy and Repetition, some really great songs. Definitely an S tier album.
Fuck, yes it is! God, that's such a great one. It's so good. God, it's so good. Yeah, baby!
Next one is Diamonds and Pearls, another 90s one, and that is going in the A tier. I really like this album. Definitely got some big hits. You got the title track, you got Cream, Get Off, Money Don't Matter Tonight, Thunder, Live for Love. Amazing album overall. Yeah, not much else to say about it. The next one is another one with the New Power Generation. We've had like 3 in a row now. This one is the, whatever you want to call it, the Love Symbol album, the Symbol album, 7. In iTunes, it actually comes up as like the actual print symbol, but it's like sideways. So it's like a 0, a parentheses, a plus sign, and then like the greater or less than sign. It's like the, one of those. It's like the sideways V, so it's like comes up like that. Is this something good? It's amazing. Definitely, I would say probably A tier. You got some great songs. Sexy MF, My Name is Prince. That one specifically used to be one of my all-time favorite Prince songs, so just for that, it's going up there. It's at least a B tier, but with all the other stuff, it's definitely an A tier for me. I guess this one's also a little bit of a soundtrack because there was that movie Three Chains of Gold, which I've never personally watched it, but I've heard some pretty good things about it, I guess. But I don't know. I've never really been interested in seeing it, but the album is really good, so definitely A tier. The next one has come. This is one of his most underrated albums. I freaking love it. I don't know why so many people hate it. They say it's boring. They say it's repetitive. They say whatever. I fucking love this album. Definitely got to be A tier for me. I think it's really good. I don't know. Like the first song, I guess, is a little long. It's like 10 minutes long, which can get old kind of fast, and it is very repetitive. But I think it's still a great song. Honestly, I don't know why so many people hate it. Definitely got to be A tier for me. Some standout songs: Space, Pheromone, Dark, Race, Solo. Pretty much every song on the album is a masterpiece. So A tier for sure.
Siri, what is the worst
Prince
album?
Come.
That's the worst one? No, I think
Raven to the Joy Fantastic.
is the worst one, Siri. You've seriously fucked up.
Next one is the Black Album, one of his first really hard to find albums that's also actually not on Spotify or any of the streaming sites. But with all that implied, it's not his best album. It's decent, but I think it's only about a C tier. Some good songs, Cindy C, Super Fragile Sexy, I think it's what it's called. When Two Are in Love, which is originally from Love Sexy. Yeah, it's kind of basically like the original version of Love Sexy, but kind of like a bootleg copy of it or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's like a C tier. There's nothing special about it, but I guess it's worth searching for if you haven't ever, if you don't, because it is really hard to find. So I guess just for that, it's worth searching for. But the actual album isn't that great, so I wouldn't say it's anything higher than a C tier.
The Black Album? Come on. You are normie as shit right now.
All right, the next one is the Gold Experience. One of my all-time favorite albums in general. Definitely one of my favorite Prince albums, but I love the song from top to bottom. I love pretty much every song. Every song is good in its own way. They're all pretty much different. It's not like Come, where all the songs are very similar. I'll be honest, with Come, it is a little repetitive, but I still really like it. But for the Gold Experience, all the songs are different. There's some wildly inappropriate songs. Definitely the first song, Peak Control, is a pretty, raw and just, he just goes hardcore on it. He says anything he wants to say pretty much. So that's not a very good song to open with, but strangely it works. And, Gold is really good. The Most Beautiful Girl in the World is really good. Dolphin, I Hate You. All the songs are just amazing. So I would say S tier, not F tier. Some people would say F tier, but I would say S tier. So definitely S tier. Next one is Chaos and Disorder, another '90s one that is pretty underrated. When I first heard it, I would have given it like an A tier, but looking back, it's not as good as I remember it. I would give it a B tier. I think it is pretty cool. It is very hard rock music. It's like one of his loudest albums for sure. Kind of like the Gold Experience, there are some like raw songs on there, where he just says anything he wants to say pretty much. But I think it's a B tier. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's worth searching for. It is as it is another pretty obscure one, not one that's very popular. So B tier. Okay, this is my favorite album by Prince of all time. Definitely Emancipation. 3 discs of pure geniusness. It's a masterpiece from top to bottom. Each disc is kind of its own like style, and it's just such a great experience listening to this album. Definitely S tier. If there was a rank higher, it would be up there because this is like one of my favorite albums of all time. I love this album. I've heard it so much in my house because my dad loves it, and my parents love it. It's and for a reason. It is so good. So many great songs on here. Jam of the Year, Right Back Here in My Arms, Get Your Groove On, We Gets Up, I Scream in This Bed, or In This Bed I Scream, Sex in the Summer, Holy River, Savior, Human Body, Face Down, La La Means I Love You, Da Da Da, which I've played in one of my videos before. I'll play a sample of it right here real quick. Just so many great songs. Definitely got to be S tier. Next one is his second album, just called Prince. Some early hits that he had. I Want to Be Your Lover, Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, I Feel For You. I would say B tier. I think it's pretty solid. Not his best album, but just in the middle pretty much.
The self-titled? No. Mm-mm. No.
Purple Rain
Is better. Part
Love Symbol album
is better. They barely had their sound fully figured out on that record. That record is all over the place. I mean, it's good, but Jesus.
The next one is Crystal Ball, another one I have some things to say about. When I first bought it on Amazon, I was like really excited because at the time it was super rare, and it was obviously before like all the albums got put out on Spotify and stuff. This was back in about 2016 when I bought it on Amazon. It was probably about 50 or 60 bucks, I want to say, which was a little overpriced. But whatever, because it came with 4 discs. It came with the bonus disc, which was The Truth, which is a separate, it's the next one. So I guess we'll just put these two together. But I think it doesn't hold up, honestly. Like when I first bought it, I really just wanted it just because it was so hard to find. But now, because you can find it on YouTube or anything, in Spotify, Apple Music, it's just pointless to have it. It just, sits around and just gathers dust, and it's not a very good album. So I think has some interesting songs on it, but most of it is pretty annoying stuff that isn't really music. It's just like whatever the hell he wants to make. So not a very great album, but not a horrible one. I'll put it in C tier. And then the bonus disc was The Truth, and it's like a very acoustic album. All the songs are like just acoustic guitar, and it's not bad, but it's just very interesting for Prince, as Prince doesn't really do it that much. I don't know. It sounds better for like another artist, like I don't know, Suzanne Vega or something to do, but Prince wouldn't really make music like this, but it's not bad, so I'll give it in the C tier as well, just like Crystal Ball.
No, it's not. Get out of here, please.
Next one is News, a very, very weird album, to say the least. It has 4 songs on it, and they're called North, East, West, and South. Tends to name, like the cardinal directions, but it's a very weird album because all the songs are like 14 minutes long exactly. Like literally, there's 4 songs and they're all 14 minutes long exactly. Very strange that just it happens to be that way, but whatever. But uh, I have heard it. Since I was doing this video, I in preparation listened to a bunch of albums and I listened to this one and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I think it's just nothing. It's kind of jazzy and it is just pretty mellow, but it is a pretty boring album to say the least. And it's also another one that's really hard to find, but it's not worth searching for, honestly. It's not worth spending like $300 for a copy on Amazon. It's not. So I'll put it in D tier.
Man, you're batting 0 right now.
Next one is The Vault, Old Friends for Sale. Another kind of obscure one from the 90s. This one's alright. I think it has a couple good songs on it. The Rest of My Life, Sarah, When the Lights Go Down, She Spoke to Me. A couple of pretty good songs. Not his best album, but not his worst. I'll put it in C tier for now. Alright, this next one is Raven to the Joy Fantastic. Definitely his worst album, no question. I have never enjoyed this album. I've played it, I first heard it when I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. And even though now I'm a teenager, just listening to it now, it's still horrible. None of the songs are good. There's a bunch of weird duets or like duets, featured artists, including Chuck D from Public Enemy and Sheryl Crow, which you guys probably know, very popular 90s female alternative rock artist. Very bad album though. Those guest appearances don't make it any better. They actually make it worse because the Chuck D song is definitely the worst song on the entire album. I'll play a clip of it real quick.
Again, I don't follow trends, they just follow me. Just like the Israelites through the Red Sea. It might.
I don't know. What'd you guys think? I just can never get into it. I've heard it so many times over the years, and I just never thought it was a very good song. So, yeah, overall, I have to give this album an F. It's just horrendously bad. And I don't know why Prince ever made it, because it's really not that good.
Fuck yeah. Shut up.
On the flip side, though, another album that isn't very popular, but I do enjoy, is The Rainbow Children. Very jazz-oriented album. Pretty much all the songs are jazz songs, and it's a very good album, honestly. I think it's pretty well made. Some great songs. The Rainbow Children, of course. Family Name was a good one. 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. Last December. Some pretty good jams like that. There's some very long songs on here. The first song is The Rainbow Children, and it's like 10 minutes long, but it's a masterpiece. I definitely recommend it. And then some other songs are like 7 or 8 minutes long, but they are very good. So overall, I would give this album a B rank. The Rainbow Children.
I mean, it's better than the Black Album, so at least you didn't pick like one of the worst ones.
Next one is One Night Alone. I have not ever heard this one. I don't know much about it. I just know it's a very hard to find album in his discography. But for now, I just have to put it in Don't Know, because I have never really played it.
What? No. No. Bad Siri. Bad Siri. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. Oh, bad.
Expectation, another one I haven't heard that much of. I do like this cover. I think this cover is really cool, but besides the cover, I don't know anything about it. I just know all the songs just start with the letter X and they're just random words pretty much. A very strange album, but from what I have heard of it, it's very jazzy, and I think it's probably a pretty decent album, but I haven't listened to it all the way through, so I have to put it in Don't Know for now. Next one, Musicology, came out in the mid 2000s. Nothing too special. It's nothing bad, but it's just kind of boring. You know, some rock stuff or some funk stuff. You know, like he released all these pretty hard to find albums like Expectation and we go on the Chocolate Invasion and Slaughterhouse and stuff. But this one came out after all those, I believe, and you know he tries to go back to his roots. You know, with like his kind of funky R&B kind of sound and or you know kind of like rock and R&B together. And I don't know, it just falls kind of flat. It just doesn't do much for me. So I'll put this one in C tier for now, but it's nothing special.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Next one, as we're talking about the Chocolate Invasion, and actually we'll just put these two together because I haven't heard the full albums all the way through. I do know they are very rare, and I do know that they were like actually exclusives to the MPG Music Club. So if you didn't get if you didn't get a copy of these, through that, then they're like extremely hard to find on like Amazon or eBay or anything. You can find them online. You can find the songs online on like I said, YouTube and Spotify, but the actual CD copies are super hard to find. But I haven't listened to them yet, so I just have to put them in Don't Know. You know, when I was a kid, I just spent hours looking at these albums on Wikipedia, you know, going through Prince's whole discography on Wikipedia and like seeing all these rare obscure albums that I never saw in like music stores or anything. And I was like, you know, what are these albums? And then I found out years later that they're like exclusives to the MPG Music Club from like 20 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. But, just never, I don't know. It's kind of interesting now because now they're all over, you know, YouTube and Spotify and stuff. Because after he died, they just said, screw copyright. We're just going to put all of them out because now he can't tell us what to do. So that's why all these albums are out on like Spotify and stuff. Wasn't the best decision, but whatever. Anyway, so moving on, we have another very old album, Dirty Mind. Came out in like the early 80s, I think, in like 1980, I believe. It still holds up. I remember listening to this on cassette tape a lot, driving in my mom's car, you know, driving home from my grandma's house, playing this album, you know, hearing Uptown and When You Were Mine and Party Up and Head. Some great songs, you know, kind of dirty, you know, kind of sexual lyrics, but you have to expect that from Prince, you know, so definitely got to give this one a B tier.
Ooh, that's that's probably the pretentious fans pick, but I'll let it slide.
Next one is 3121. I loved this album as a kid. You know, I loved it so much. Some standout hits: Lolita, the title track, of course, Furry, Satisfied, Black Sweat. Some really great songs on here. Very dancey, very funky R&B sound. Definitely going back to his roots with this album. Nothing boring, nothing, you know, dull on this album. Just very dancey album. But years later, I think it's still pretty good. Not as good as I would have said, 5 years ago. Like when I was younger, I probably would have said A tier, but now I would say B tier. So I'll put it in B tier for now.
I mean, it's an underrated album, but I would say more the
Emancipation. The next one is Planet Earth. Pretty dull album, very guitar based and very trying to be rock based, but I don't know, it just doesn't do much for me. Just like Musicology, it came out in the mid 2000s around the same time, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't know, so I got to put that in C tier as well. yeah, just not much to say.
In what universe?
Lotus Flower, very good album. Came out in 2009. Well, actually, these two came out together on like the same album for some reason. And there's also a new artist named Bria Valenti, I think her name is. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but whatever. I think that's how you pronounce it. And her album is pretty good as well. But these two Prince albums are very good. This first one, Lotus Flower, is very rock based. Has some kind of jazzy stuff to it as well, but very rock, guitar based, very loud, and just really well made. I would say B tier though. I don't think it's A tier worthy, but probably B tier.
Yeah, you started listening to music in the year 2008, apparently. Apparently.
Next one was MLP. ML was it? Okay, sorry. MPL sound. I'm so used to saying MLP because I'm like such a cartoon lover, and I'm so used to saying MLP for My Little Pony, whatever. But it's MPL sound is the name of it, and for some reason when you put it in iTunes and stuff, it's like some of the letters are capitalized and some aren't. I don't know. It's like all the letters are capitalized except the O in sound. It's weird, whatever. So this is a very good album as well. Very, trying to be like throwing in like kind of like auto-tuney kind of sound and throwing in kind of like some newer like EDM beats and stuff. He hasn't done that much in his music. Throughout the mid 2000s, like we were saying with Planet Earth Musicology, it was mostly just trying to go back to his roots with like, his kind of traditional funky pop sound. But then he comes out with this, and it's like electronic beats, and I think he does use auto tune, which isn't a good thing, but it's still very experimental for Prince to do that. And it's a very cool album. Definitely gonna say B tier. By the way, standout tracks for this one: Chocolate Box, There'll Never Be Another Like Me, Valentina, No More Candy for You. Those are some pretty good songs. The next one is 2010, another very rare album. I haven't heard it, so just moving on. Next one, Plectrum Electrum with ThirdEyeGirl. Pretty good album, very rock based. Some standout tracks: Pretzel Body Logic, Mars. I haven't heard it in a while, so I can't name a lot. Funk and Roll was good. I would say B tier. Another one that came out in the same year was Artificial Age. Pretty good album as well. Again, like more rock based and trying to be kind of like MLP sound, or I'm sorry, MPL sound. Trying to be like kind of using like up to date, like trying to, like electronic beats and stuff. Very interesting experimental album for Prince. Gonna say B tier. By the way, Artificial Cage is maybe one of his best songs ever made. Just flat out. Like that song, the opening song is amazing. So just for that, it's B tier at least.
Okay, now you're just picking the new shit.
All right, these next two are Hit and Run and Hit and Run 2. I've heard, online and stuff that they're like some of his best albums from the last 20 years of his music. I personally have not heard these, so I can't judge. Just gonna put them in the don't know section for now.
No, it's no. You haven't listened to the old stuff.
Next one is fourth album, I believe, was Controversy. Pretty good album. Again, just like Dirty Mind, kind of dirty lyrics, kind of some dirty titles. Jack You Off, Sexuality, Do Me Baby, Controversy, etc., etc. I will put it in B tier. All right, the next one is definitely one of his worst albums, Piano on a Microphone, 1983. I think one of his first posthumous albums. I don't know if it was his first or second. I'm not sure, but one of his posthumous albums. It's pretty boring for the most part. It's just him in a studio in his like dressing room or whatever, just singing and playing a piano and playing like demos of some of the songs that hadn't come out yet, such as Purple Rain and stuff like that. So yeah, there wasn't a single good song on this album. I played it all the way through and I wasn't impressed. I don't think it's F tier. I don't think it's as bad as Raven to the Joy Fantastic, but I would say it's D tier.
This new
Prince
album, it's not good.
Next one, Originals. Basically a bunch of cover or his versions of songs he wrote for other artists. So like Manic Monday by the Bangles is on here, and it's a pretty good cover of it. As well as some other songs like Sheila E. The Glamorous Life, a couple of songs by The Time, Jungle Love, Gigolos, Get Lonely Too, some other songs, and most of the songs are good, but they just sound exactly the same as the real versions, except with him singing, and because like he did like all the instruments and he did all the producing and editing and stuff. He just didn't sing them, but on here he sings all of them, and they sound exactly the same as their real version. So I will put it in C tier. By the way, this is another Posthumous album. And again, that's not very impressive. Not as bad as Piano and a Microphone, but not too far of a stretch. Next one, One Night Alone Live, live box set that came out in like 2003, I think. It must have been around the time he was touring the Rainbow Children, because there's plenty of songs on that album on here. And just for that, it's pretty good. Yeah, not much to say. Just pretty hard to find, but it's probably worth looking for. B tier. C Note, another live album of some more obscure songs. I have never heard it, so I got to put it in Don't Know. And the same with this one that I've never heard before, Indigo Nights. Yeah, just flat out don't know them. Next one, Prince and the Revolution Live. Another, I just realized we have this and the movie on here, but I guess we'll come back to that at the end still. But this is the soundtrack to the concert movie Prince and the Revolution Live, which for a while during 2020 was available on YouTube for free for some reason. I'm not sure why, but they just put it out for some reason, and I didn't watch it, but I have seen it before. I did watch it like a long time ago, and it is pretty good, and they did release the soundtrack on Spotify and stuff, so it's a pretty solid concert movie, and the music is really good in it. The ending song is Purple Rain, and it's like really long. It's like 16 minutes long, and it's amazing, so I will say a B tier.
No, it is not.
The next one is the Versace Experience, another posthumous album. Basically the original version of the Gold Experience, which, like I said, is one of my all-time favorites. It's a pretty cool album. It's got all the original versions of like Gold and I Hate You and P Control and stuff. So I think it's pretty solid. I would give it a B tier. Not as good as you might think. You might think that I would put it in like S tier or something, but I'm only gonna put it B tier. Rave Into the Joy Fantastic, basically a remix album of the other album, and again, it's not good at all, because especially considering that like almost all the songs sound pretty much the same, and if they're remixed, they sound even worse actually. So yeah, that's not good. So I'm actually gonna put that in F tier as well. And there was actually a box set recently that came out it was like Ultimate Rave or something, where it had these two albums and then this concert movie we'll get to at the end. And it's like, who needs that? Like, that's his worst album, and it's like, who gives a shit? So, that's stupid, but whatever.
I'm not sure I understand.
Of course you don't! You don't understand anything!
Alright, so our next one is Purple Rain Deluxe Edition. So I'm just going to talk about the bonus stuff. I'm not going to talk about the original, because we'll get to that one in a minute. Because, again, like the order on here got all screwed up because tier list messed it up or whatever. So I'm unfortunately going to have to talk about Purple Rain, 1999, and Sign of the Times before I get to the original albums, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. So, I mean, like, I'm going to talk about the deluxe stuff before I talk about the real stuff, but whatever. So anyway, Purple Rain Deluxe. I bought the version with only one bonus disc where it had like some of the stuff from his vault, which is all new stuff. Because I know the like Ultimate Deluxe Edition with like 5 discs and a concert movie, it just had like live stuff, which is cool. But then it had like edited versions of all the songs, the single like 7-inch versions and stuff. And it's like, who cares about any of that? So I just bought the version with just the new stuff, and I think some of it is really good. I think some of it is like stuff that easily could have made it on Purple Rain, such as Love and Sex, and some other songs, The Dance Electric. And then I think there's some stuff that's just really good in its own way that isn't really worthy of putting on the original album, but definitely is some good songs like Father Song and Velvet Kitty Cat, and definitely the original version of two songs, the long extended like 10-minute versions of Computer Blue and Weekend Funk. Very, very good versions of those songs. Love them. Maybe superior to the original versions. So with all this talk, I think it's decent. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's as good as the original, but I'll put it in the B tier section.
No, it is not. It is not.
Purple Rain
Deluxe edition. What? Are you on crack?
Next one is 1999 Deluxe, and I have never heard it. I haven't heard any of the deluxe stuff, so I can't judge it. Gotta put it in don't know for now.
No, it's not. It's very much not
1999
deluxe version. To think that you'd have to be a
1999
deluxe virgin.
But as far as the original goes, I think it's good, but a little overrated just because some of the major hits are like some of his most popular songs. And as a hardcore Prince fan, I prefer some of the more obscure stuff, as we've talked about, some of the later 90s stuff that came out after, all his major fame albums came out. So I think it's a decent album, but it doesn't hold up as much as people say. I will give it a B tier, though. By the way, the best song on it is probably Delirious, just because, like, I don't know. I think that's probably the best hit on it. Because I'll be honest, Little Red Corvette doesn't hold up as well as people say it is. It's not one of his best songs at all. It's just straight up.
If like you're a mainstreamer.
Sign of the Times Deluxe. So I bought the version. Actually, my dad bought the version, the whole like super deluxe version, which has like 8 discs worth of CD, like 8 CDs and one concert DVD, which I actually watched a few days ago for the first time, and I think that was pretty good, but had some weird stuff in it. Not gonna lie, but it was pretty good throughout. The closing song, by the way, it was It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, and it was 34 minutes long. I don't know why it was that long, but who knows. I didn't sit through the whole thing. I turned it off because it was the last song, and like after the whole thing before was like an hour and a half, and then it comes to that final encore and it's a half hour long. It's like, who's gonna sit through that? So I turned it off after like 10 minutes. But yeah, it was 34 minutes long according to Wikipedia. But for the other stuff, I have heard some of the rarities, like the vault tracks, the new stuff that hasn't been released yet, and I think there are some pretty good songs in there. But I haven't heard that much of it, so I think, to be fair, I have to put it in the don't know section, because I really haven't heard that much. I haven't heard even half of the new stuff, so I'm gonna put it in don't know for now. And then we have our stream of all of his greatest hits albums. The first one is the Hits B-Sides. This is the first one that came out, and it includes the Hits 1, the Hits 2, and then a third disc of a bunch of B-Sides and stuff. And this is probably his best compilation album. Definitely, it has the best song selection, and it has the best like order of songs and stuff. It was also the first one I bought, like, because it was the first one that came out that came out in like the 90s. But I bought it before I bought all these other ones that came out later. So like to me, this was like the original best of that like is just easily his best one. So I'll put this in A tier. I think it's not perfect, but you can't really make a perfect best of for Prince, so but definitely his most accurate one. Because for these other ones, I think I'll put them in C tier, considering the fact that some of these are only the first one is the very best of Prince, and that only has one disc with like 17 songs. It's like that's not enough, so we'll put that in C tier. Ultimate also has it has two discs actually, but the second one is all remixes and stuff that sounds horrendous. So the first disc is accurate, but like it only has about a handful. It only has 17 songs as well, so we'll put that one in C tier. And then Forever came out in 2016 and got praised and everything, and people were saying, "Oh, it's like you definitely got to buy this." And I looked at the track listing, and it had almost every song on here was from the hits B sides, except for one which was a new song from the Vault called Moonbeam Levels, which is a really great song. But it's not worth buying the whole two disc set for one song. You know, it's that's not worth it. So I'll put that one in C tier as well. And then the last compilation album is Anthology 1995 to 2010, I believe, is the years. And this is a very interesting album. It basically is a compilation album for the new, all the like 90s stuff, like it's the title suggests, 1995 to 2010. So it has at least one song from all those albums, including the hard to find rare albums like the MPG exclusives, like we were talking about over here, the Chocolate Invasion, Slaughterhouse, etc. 2010 and stuff. It's pretty interesting because it does have all the stuff that most of the other best ofs don't, but uh, it doesn't really work very well. The track listing is kind of random, and I don't know, it doesn't work very well. It kind of falls flat, so I will put it in the C tier for now. Camustra, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Another bonus disc to the Crystal Ball box set. I have never heard this one, so I gotta put that in the don't know. By the way, it's another one that's not available on any streaming sites or anything like that, so is it worth finding? I have no idea. Never heard it. New Power Soul. This is a great album. One of his most underrated albums for sure. Like I was saying, it's one of the ones with just the new power generation, not with him involved, I guess, or something. I don't know, but it's really good. It's also not on any streaming sites. These next three I'm going to talk about are not, but this is the only one I've heard, and I really like this one, so I'll give it an A. It's basically like if it's Emancipation. It's kind of like Emancipation. It has some of the similar, themes to it. It's very funky. It's got some great ballads on it, and like the same with Emancipation, I really enjoy it. So definitely got to give it A tier. Best song Until You're in My Arms Again, probably his best ballad ever. Golden and Exodus, I have never heard either of those, so we're just gonna move along. Purple Rain, the original. Uh, don't really need to even talk about this one because I think everybody knows how great it is. Hits include When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, I Would Die For You, Take Me With You, and the title track. No further explanation, S tier.
You like the classics.
Beautiful Experience, the single for The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. It's good, but it's a little unnecessary because most of the songs sound very similar, so I will put it in C tier. Although that is a really good that is a good song. Like I was saying, The Gold Experience is one of my favorite Prince albums ever made, and The Most Beautiful Girl in the World is a good song, but I don't like it as much as you would think, so I'll put it in C tier for now. Get Off single, better than the Beautiful Experience single or the Most Beautiful Girl in the World single. And a lot of these versions are really good and really underrated, so I'll put it in B tier. And the same with the new Power Generation single. By the way, I did pick these out because I do know these ones. I have owned them, and they are pretty interesting. And I think that these have more to offer than most of the singles because each of these have about 6 or 7 songs, and they're all different, I think. So definitely would recommend the Get Off and New Power Generation singles. Beautiful Experience only for the hardcore fans.
Oh, okay. You're just really you just really like that remix, I guess. I like the remix too. The remix is good. The newest version, it's good. Good job.
1-800 New Funk, technically not a Prince album, but it's a compilation of different like funk artists from the 90s, but for now I'll put it in the don't know because I've never heard it. Greatest Romance Ever Sold was this is a single from the Raven to the Joy Fantastic album, and obviously we talked about that album earlier. Not a big fan of it, so I will put this in D tier. I don't think it's as bad as listening to the whole album, but it's not very good either, obviously. So D tier.
The EP. Wow. You're just there's just no predicting you. You're just an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
Dream Factory. This one's actually unreleased. This actually never came out, but uh, it has most of the songs from this came out through the Crystal Ball album or the Sign of the Times Deluxe Edition album. So yeah, if you like those songs, and this is pretty much what this is, but I haven't heard that much of it, so I will have to put it in the don't know section. As I said, most of the Sign of the Times Deluxe stuff I haven't heard yet, so I don't know that much about it, so I'm gonna have to put it in don't know for now.
It is absolutely, positively not.
Dream Factory.
That's like the NPR listener's
Prince.
album of choice. Please, Siri. Even if you're going to pick one of his newer, mellower releases, there are more interesting albums than the
Dream Factory. Around the World in a Day, another very iconic album. Some hits include Raspberry Beret, Paisley Park, Pop Life, and America, as well as some other really good deep cuts. Uh, I don't have much else to say about it. Gotta put it in B tier though. Very good album. By the way, another one that I've been listening to a lot lately during my Prince kick, and one that's starting to move higher on my list. I've always liked it, but it's starting to move up there. So yeah, it's a good one now.
Siri, what is the best
Prince.
album?
Around the World in a Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a classic. It's near perfect. I'm not going to argue with you. It's a great record. It's a great record.
Parade. This is his most overrated album. Not his worst, just his most overrated. Biggest hit from this one was Kiss, and Kiss has never been that great of a song. I don't know, as a hit, just not a very good one. I don't know. So, and by the way, the movie we'll get to in a little bit, but for the soundtrack, I just was never a fan, so I definitely am gonna put it in C tier. The best song, New Position, I guess. I don't know. It has a couple of decent songs, but mostly some pretty boring stuff, including Sometimes It Snows in April, which is not a good song at all.
Fuck you! It's not! It's overhyped! It's overrated! Okay? It's not even their most ambitious musical statement.
Sign of the Times, the original. It's a classic. What more can you say about it? It's got so many hits on it. It's got a lot of songs. It's 16 songs in total, which is more than most of his more iconic albums, such as Purple Rain or 1999 or something. And like I said, the deluxe edition is pretty good from what I've heard, but the original, definitely recommended if you've never heard it. S tier. So that's it for the albums. There were 65 of them, like we said, or like I said earlier. And now we're going to move on to the last part, which is the 6 movies that I know of. And I will rank them. So, like I was saying with Purple Rain and Graffiti Bitch, they're both good. Only for the music. You should only really watch them for the music, though. The story isn't that interesting. And Prince as an actor, I don't know. Yeah, I guess he can't really act. So I'll put them both in B tier. I think they're both decent, but nothing special, you know.
Fuck you! It's not! It's overhyped! It's overrated. Okay? It's not even their most ambitious musical statement.
Sign of the Times. Now this one's underrated, and this one I have a lot to say about. This film is really good, but it was like really neglected because, long story short, it came out, you know, in the theaters and stuff and on VHS and back in like the late 80s and like 1987, and then it went out of print in 1991, so they never released it on DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that. They only ever released it on VHS for a limited time. So after like 1991, it became pretty hard to find. And then for a while, it was like really hard to find. It wasn't on any streaming sites or anything. And then in 2017, Showtime got the rights to it, and they were streaming it for a while on their premium channels and stuff. And then after that, they just put it out on like free streaming sites like Tubi and Crackle and stuff, or not Crackle, Peacock, Pluto TV, stuff like that, which is complete bullshit because this is a great movie and it deserves to be streamed on Showtime, but it should be released on DVD and stuff. I don't know why it isn't, but I've seen it on VHS. I do have a VHS copy, which is really cool. So I've watched it I've watched it a few times. I really enjoy it, and some of these songs sound amazing. Oh, yeah, some of these songs sound really good in it. Some of them may even be superior to their studio versions, actually. So definitely worth watching. A tier. Under the Cherry Moon. Personally, I have actually never seen it all the way through. I've heard really bad things about it, and I did watch it one night. I watched about 20 minutes of it. It was so bad. I had to turn it off. His acting was so bad in it, and there wasn't a lot of music so far from what I saw, so it was horrible, so I had to turn it off. But if I were to rank it, I would put it in like D or something, but truth be told, I haven't seen it all the way through, so I can't, so I'm just going to put it in Don't Know for now. But if I ever do see it, we'll probably let you guys know what I think about it, because it is pretty bad from what I've seen. Alright, and then Prince and the Revolution Live, we talked about already. I think I gave a thorough speech about it a few minutes ago, so I'm just going to put it in B tier as well. Definitely worth watching. And last but not least, Raven to the Year 2000. So, unlike its studio album that it was the tour for, I think, this is actually a pretty good concert movie. I actually recommend it. Definitely worth, watching. Definitely way better than the album that it was based on. And like I was saying with that box set, it did come with this, and this is the only good part of it. So I guess that box set's worth just for this. I don't know, or you could just buy this separately. I don't know. So for me, I'll put it in B tier. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Prince albums tier list, or albums / movies / a bunch of other albums, singles, and best ofs and stuff. Like I said, there were 71 in total, but most of them ended up in the don't know section. But overall, this was what I think about Prince. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in another video, and it'll probably be a cartoon one. I have tons of ideas. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. I am always looking into those things. I will always do some things if you guys recommend them. I don't get a lot of comments, but the ones I do, I always respond to. And yeah, have a great day, y'all.
More than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons, the Transformers. Transformers.